would agree that the term had an inherent effect and he should be allowed to run. I don't trust him. Now this is me. I don't trust. I don't trust all of them. Berlin called me because he knew I was going to talk about this, and he told me he had talked to Dr. Harrington, and he had explained it to Dr. Harrington, and Dr. Harrington understood it. Well, I talked to Doc too, and that wasn't understanding I got. What is a drafted mistake? You sent the right one over on the 20th. 3 days later, something's wrong with it. Wait a minute. Is this mic up? Let's see. Let me call Councilman Berlin Boyd. Now I know you expected me to call me.
Hello?
Councilman Boyd.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're live on the air.
Okay.
All right, let's deal with this. January 23rd, the city council approved, after the third reading, I believe.
Correct.
The wording says, no person shall be eligible to hold or to be elected to the office of mayor or Memphis City Council if any such person has served at any time after December 31st, 2011, more than 3 consecutive 4-year terms, except that service by persons elected or appointed to fill an unexpired 4-year term shall not be counted as a full 4-year term. That's what the council voted on, right?
That is correct.
That would be the intention of the full council, that this would be what is on the ballot, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Now, how is it? We know that April 5th, Dr. Harrington announced his intentions to run for mayor of the city of Memphis. August 23rd, the Shelby County Election Commission gets the paperwork that states exactly what the council voted on. Am I right?
That is correct.
Then 3 days later, they get some more paperwork that is approved by you that takes out the date. How does that happen?
So when the ordinance was approved back in February of the language that you just read, the Memphis City Council go ahead and move forward with the procedures. We have a filing deadline that we have to meet, which was in August, to turn that paperwork over to the election commission to have those referendum items placed on the ballot for the November election. So in that, Alan Wade used the heading on the language, which he admitted today that it was an error, on a drafting error on his part. Wade put, which is our city council attorney, used the actual heading language, which omitted the date on the document. But when I signed the particular document to forward over to the election commission, attached to that document was the actual referendum in which you read. That was attached to it. So as far as we were concerned, the actual referendum would have read exactly like the Memphis City Council approved and passed. But they took the heading of the language, which it was a drafting error again, and they use that language instead.
All right, you approve both of them, right?
Well, I originally, as chairman, you sign off on every ordinance and resolution that's passed by the Memphis City Council.
All right, so then you signed off on the one that went over on the 20th of August, right?
That is correct.
So why was there a necessity for the second draft?
Because we submitted the documents that added the other additional items to the referendum. So there are 3 referendum items on there: no term limits, IRV, and the extension of term limits, instant runoff voting, and the elimination of runoff. The amendment that you see, those documents that drafted, was all 3 resubmittals to make sure that they had the wording correctly in the heading. So I signed the second document because we forward all 3 of those referendum items over to the election commission so that we can verify that those items will be on the ballot.
But again, Berlin, you didn't read it before you signed it.
You know, Thaddeus, here's the thing. I read it, and it was to my knowledge that any item that we send over, that's the reason why we actually attach the approved and passed referendum onto the document.
Okay, but the document that you signed both documents.
Correct.
You signed the document that came back on the 23rd, that the language is different. The first document on the 20th has the after December 31st, 2011 on it. Am I correct?
That is correct.
You signed that, right?
That is correct.
So when the next one comes, 3 days later, it's out of that. Wouldn't it come to your mind that something is wrong?
No, because at this point, we still didn't have any intentions of eliminating, and we didn't even think from that process, because I was still under the impression when I signed the document that there was only a heading on the cover sheet. It's merely a clipped heading on the cover sheet, which all of our referendum items that we approve states the heading. So it doesn't spell out.
What are you calling the heading on here?
So when you look at the referendum item, it does not spell the whole entire referendum item on that particular document.
But it has, both the questions, okay? The question on the first one gives the date for December 31st, right?
That's correct.
Okay, it's there. You sign off on that. Then you come back to the second one 3 days later. The heading or the question is totally different.
When I signed that document, the document that was placed before me, the one that I signed, did not have any changes to it. So that's why I said the document that I originally signed both times, which I'm aware of when I signed, the document wording was the same. It did not have a date on it.
Wait a minute. I'm looking at your signature on the 23rd date. I'm looking at your signature on the 20th date. Okay?
And it did not of the same.
And they don't read the same.
The 23rd date, the one that I signed on the 23rd date, it did not have a referendum item number on it. That's why I told you in the draft, Alan Wade admitted today in the press conference that it was a drafting error on his part, because I originally signed the document that did not have a date on it.
Okay, but I'm still saying, Berlin, I'm looking at the 23rd with your signature that says approved Berlin Board. The question is, shall the charter of the city of Memphis, Tennessee be amended to provide no person shall be eligible to be elected to the office of mayor of Memphis City Council if any such person has served at any time. That's in the paperwork. That's on the paperwork of the order of the city council. Okay, it's on there. then the first one you signed has the language which the city council voted on. So I'm not understanding these headings because I'm reading, and I went to school in North Memphis, so we learned how to read good. It does not say in the second reading is totally different from the first reading, and you signed both documents. So I'm trying to figure out how, if you got the second document, you signed the second document, you signed the first document, you had to read it. It don't read the same.
You know, and again, I will tell you, it was my understanding that the document in which I signed, the date of that particular resolution or ordinance was omitted from the document in which I signed. That is what I recall, and that's what I signed. And like I said, when the council originally approved this item, it was approved back in February. And so therefore, after consulting with Dr. Harrington today and the city council attorney, there's a remedy there to resolve this whole matter.
All right, so what's the remedy? And we're already in early voting. What's the remedy?
So the remedy is, if this particular ordinance passes, this referendum item passes, then it provides Dr. Harrington remedy to prove that this has an actual effect on him that prohibits him to seek office. Therefore, the council will come and admit and say, yes, it does. Then he has a right at that particular moment to go to Chancery Court to have the actual date amended and moved back, which this council agreed that we will agree to allow that. Because at this point, if it doesn't pass, it's a moot point and it doesn't affect him. But you actually have a remedy of action once that item is passed. It's the same thing with the other items of the city council with the RV, the way Chancellor Kyles yields his opinion. There's no remedy at this point because it hasn't passed before the Memphis City Council, before the voters.
But isn't what is on the ballot illegal?
No, sir, it's not.
It's not illegal? Did the council vote on this?
It's not illegal because of the standings of the way it's written right now.
No. This reading leaves out what the council voted on. Does not the council have to approve everything that goes on a referendum?
That is correct.
All right, so let me ask you something real simple, Berlin. Did the city council vote on what is on the ballot?
The city council, as it reads right now, did not approve the language that's currently on it.
So for the language to change in any referendum or any ordinance, does not the council have to vote on it?
Yes, we have to vote on everything that's approved.
Okay, so then if this has not been voted on by the city council the way it is on the ballot, what makes it legal?
The referendum item, the question is still in the form of a legal, it's still legal, excluding
Come on.
It will be amended.
But
hold up, Thaddeus.
Okay.
Let me say this.
Okay.
Let me say this. Because I don't want you to push me in a box as if this was something that I did. So I will say.
Well, you know that was the next box.
No.
That was the next box. I had that box on the table. That box.
I know that box.
Okay.
I know that box was on the table.
Okay.
Because here's the point. As chairman, I sign, and I say this, I sign every document that comes before the council, and that's approved. So therefore, when the council, when Bill Morrison, Councilman Morrison, originally put this before the council, we had it in 3 readings. It was approved in February. We approved it. It passed 12-1. One no vote on this particular item. There was never a thought that crossed my mind or none of my colleagues' mind that this this was going to be something against former Mayor Harrington, because it wasn't even a thought. This legislation came about because of the existing council members that's on the city council, and it was to include Joe Brown and Janice Fullylove because of their consecutive terms. This particular item that provided term limits was approved and was to go in effect December 31st, 2011. So in order to include Janice Fullylove and Joe Brown so that they could run for a third term on the council, that's why that date ended up being there. And Alan Wade, who is our legal counsel, admitted that it was an omission and an oversight on his part, not my part.
All right, now let me go back to what you said. Janice had already announced that she was not going to return to the council, that she was going to run for the clerk of juvenile court. She had already announced that. Morrison had already announced he was going to run for office. Okay, but wait a minute.
Who was the sponsor of that ordinance, Thaddeus?
Morrison is the sponsor of it because other council members, especially newly elected council members, wanted to serve terms because they've done. You just get your feet wet with 2 terms, so they wanted more terms. But I still go back. Let's go back to the question though, Berlin. You signed the document 3 days apart. The wording is different in the changes. Okay? The wording is different that you signed. The question is different. And I'm sure you're a smart man. I know you can read. How is it, again, that you got 2 documents with 2 different questions on it that read totally different? You signed it as a chairperson, which all chairpersons, I agree with you, signed the paperwork, and you didn't notice this.
Because when I got the second document, that is, the second document was clearly stated to me, the signature that I was signing was for the other 2 additional referendum questions on the ballot. Because we had already submitted the document and the paperwork for the question that we're discussing.
So you saying you didn't? So you saying you didn't read it?
When I signed the document had 2 questions on there as it pertained in a heading on the footnote heading on the first question.
So you're saying you didn't read it?
No, that is what I'm saying is I had a footnote heading, a heading on my paperwork. I read everything that comes.
Okay, but I see your signature on it. Your signature is on it.
The other language obviously was added after I signed the paperwork.
So, wait a minute. So you're saying that they added something after you signed it?
After I signed the paperwork, I signed 2 documents. And I'm going to be clear on this. I signed 2 documents. I signed the first document that you stated.
Right.
That dealt with the question about term limits. That paperwork was submitted to the election commission. That was already gone. We had taken that to the election commission. They had that question. I had to deal with 2 more because I remember this because I got called and I was told I needed to come because we had a deadline. And I should be able to pull up the email when they sent me the email stating, hey, we're undergone. We got to get this signed before 4:30 to get to the election commission. I went to City Hall. I left a meeting, went to City Hall, and I signed, and it had the heading of the first referendum item that I'd already submitted, and it had the other 2 referendum items spelled out, which was one RV, and the second one was spelled out was the term, the runoff, the elimination of runoff. That is the document that I signed. It did not spell out the whole entire referendum item to the term limit.
Okay.
I had already signed and submitted that paperwork to the election.
Okay, but you signed this on the 23rd. Okay?
That's correct.
You got a 23rd. But it's in here, Berlin, is what I'm saying. It states in here that shall the charter of the city of Memphis, Tennessee be amended to provide no person shall be eligible to hold or to be elected to the office of mayor or Memphis City Council if any such person has served at any time more than 3 consecutives. You signed that, man. You signed that, and 3 days before that, you had signed something totally different that had the December 31st date in it.
Thaddeus, look at your paperwork, because I think you got the same paperwork that I have. Flip through it and look at where my signature is at the end of the document.
Which means that you're supposed to read the whole document before you sign it. It is at the end. It says approved by.
This is exactly what I'm telling you. Listen, follow, walk with me for a second.
All right, let me walk with you.
Just walk with me for a second.
Okay.
What I'm telling you is I did not have to resubmit paperwork to the election commission, because this particular referendum item was already signed and approved, and Linda Phillips had it in her hand. The only 2 referendum items that I had to sign and approve for was instant runoff voting, and it was dealing with the elimination of runoffs. Those were the 2 that I signed on the deadline.
Okay.
I had already submitted the paperwork. I read through it. I saw it. It was a synopsis of the first referendum item, which we had on the ballot, was this, because Linda Phillips already had the paperwork. The only 2 that I had to sign for was dealing with IRV and elimination of runoff.
So are you saying then that they took your signature from the other date, from the 20th, and just put that piece of paper in there?
They obviously put that piece of paper in there with what I signed, because I only saw the heading to this particular referendum
So
item on the paper.
you're saying that the second item then, you didn't sign it?
I signed the second 2 referendum items. That's how I remember, because I got an email. It was a deadline. We had to have it turned in by 4:30. I got the phone call and emails stating, you need to get down here and sign this paperwork before the deadline. I went down, I read over what it said, compared it to our existing 2 ordinance that we passed, and I put my signature on it. I did not question this particular term limit item, because it was already turned into the election commission. The election commission already had this document, which you stated 2 days before.
Okay, then let's have some clarity. 2 days before this, it says what the council voted on. You signed that, right?
I signed it, yes.
Okay. This date of August 23rd, 2018, where it says the question in here, it takes out the date. You didn't submit your signature on that.
I submitted my signature on the other 2 referendum items.
So, but I'm saying on this one. What I'm asking you, Berlin, is on this particular one, on the 23rd.
The document that you're looking at, that is, it has all 3 referendum items on it. It has that 3rd referendum item, which I didn't realize that it had it until Harris's press conference today. I only realized today.
That didn't sound good. That didn't sound good. That didn't sound good. You didn't realize it until the press conference today. And so are you? What I'm trying to?
You're trying to box me in into something.
I'm not trying to box you in. I'm trying to get some clarity on what you're saying. Are you saying that on this last document? Are you saying on this last document that takes the date out of what the council voted on, that they just attach your signature to it from another piece of paper and put another date on it? Is that what you're saying?
Obviously, what happened is somewhere all of the documents got into that one batch and was sent over to the election commission. Because on the one that I signed on the 23rd, I was signing specifically for the other 2 referendum items. That's what I signed. I had already signed and submitted the original referendum item 2 days before, which you already got copies of that.
Yeah.
You see that.
Yeah. So that's where the question comes in, Berlin.
But that is you're saying that I didn't read it, and I'm telling you, I read and I know exactly what I signed, and I only had a heading that stated 3 term limits.
So
That was
then,
my heading, and then I moved to the next 2 referendum
So-
items that were very clear and concise.
so are you saying then, Berlin, that someone fraudulently put this date on here with your signature in?
I'm saying if something ain't right, and that's why.
No. If you didn't do it, did someone fraudulently put your signature or put this date or this last sheet on here and put a date on it?
It ended up in there. I didn't do it. I will say that.
So you're saying that the Shelby County Election Commission has fraudulently put your name on a legal document?
What I'm saying is, somewhere in the shuffle, my name ended up being attached to a document
Okay.
that I did originally approve.
If you didn't sign it, it's fraud then, right?
If it quacks like a duck, walk like a duck, it's a
Okay.
duck.
So did you not hand deliver this paperwork over to the election commission?
My staff delivered the second document
Okay.
to the election commission.
So you're saying that when your staff delivered it over the second document on the 23rd of August, that you didn't have to sign your name on the bottom of anything?
No, sir. I had already signed the document. I signed the document after I read it. I approved it. I signed it, gave it to my staff. My staff rushed it over to the election commission because we were under time constraint. I think I made it to City Hall about 3:40, 3:50, somewhere in that time frame. I signed it. They rushed it over there because our deadline was at 4:30.
So what we have here is someone at the Shelby County Election Commission put a date, because see, the date on this one, Berlin, is the 23rd.
Right.
So that means that someone at the Shelby County Election Commission committed fraud. If see, it's dated, okay? It's not backdated to the 20th.
No, it's not backdated.
Right, it's dated on the 23rd, okay? So
Right.
that means that somebody, if your staff hand delivered it to the Shelby County Election Commission, and they put a document in here and put a date on it, okay? They got a date on it for the 23rd of August. That means that somebody committed fraud. Wouldn't you say?
I mean, I would say, only thing I'm gonna say, I did sign a document that was changed from what the council approved. I only signed the document for term limits, 2 days, 3 days prior to this document. That's why I told you earlier in the conversation that I read what I signed. I only had a heading. That's why I keep telling you it was only a heading for 3 terms.
Let me
It
ask
did not spell out anything or any language
I didn't.
that the former mayor Harrington stated today. That's why I also said to you, I was surprised, and I found this out when he had his press conference, because I asked the question, what the hell happened?
Well, let me ask you one last question. If you can't do anything about it now, but you can take it to court, they can take it to court and change it, doesn't that disenfranchise the people who are voting now?
You know, I think from a perspective, it doesn't, because there's a way to fix it. There's an easy way to fix it, because he's not pulling a petition to qualify for mayor until next year.
So, but if you wanted to vote this down, okay, or you wanted to vote this up one way, if those who are voting and says, this is what we don't want the city council to have all this, we don't want Willie Harrington to be able to run because this is what's on the ballot, and it says that, and they vote for this, and then it goes back and it changes, isn't that disenfranchising the voter?
I think it does not provide clear, concise language to the voters. And the one thing that I've been hoping for and anticipating, that the council provide and will provide the general public transparency. And that's the goal and hope that we all tried to get during our term as council members. And there is a level of distrust there, but full disclosure, there was nothing malicious on our part.
Come on. Look, Berlin, nothing happens by accident in politics.
Hey, Thaddeus, I'm being completely honest.
No.
This right here was not done at the will of the council, because the council.
No, the council members don't know what I've talked to 3 council members, and they don't know what the hell going on.
Exactly, and I'm in the same boat. I'm in the same boat.
But
And
Berlin, when we go back and we see your signature on the
Thaddeus,
paperwork.
You just admitted I am the chairman of the Memphis City Council.
And I understand that.
This is not new to Berlin Boyd. Every council chairman in the past signs everything.
I totally understand that. But what I'm saying to you, when you come back and see, you won't say that somebody has fraudulently did something with you. Okay, fraud is fraud. You got a legal document that somebody took some paperwork with your name on it from another legal document and put a date on it. Isn't that fraud? If you didn't sign for this particular document, is it not fraud? Yes or no?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It is. And that's the point that I've made to you several times. I only signed a document on the 23rd that had 2 referendum items on it.
All right, so you didn't sign the 20th?
We've already dealt with it. I signed the 20th.
So you just said you signed the 23rd.
I signed the one on the 23rd that had 2 referendum items on it for the 23rd with the heading that stated, and I've said this about 5 times, the heading only stated about 3 terms. It didn't go into details. It didn't have any additional language or anything. It had the heading, 3 terms. That's it. I moved on to the next referendum.
So you said that the question wasn't in there?
No, sir, it was not, because that question was already approved and signed. You got the paper.
No. The question that is on the 23rd is totally different than what
from
is
the
20th. And it's the same question. Okay? It's the same identical question, just on the 23rd, the date is taken out of it.
And that's what I'm telling you. I don't recall that document having a date omitted in it. And when I signed it, it only stated 3 terms. Because I had already approved. We had already taken the language over to the election commission with what the city council approved.
I'm not even talking about the term limits. I'm talking about the anytime part. On the 20th, you signed one for any time after December 20, whatever it was. I forgot now.
December the 31st.
Right, 2011.
2011. Right.
3 days later, same language, except on this one, the December date, 2011, is gone. Same identical thing. And this one has a signature of Berlin Boyd, just like the other one has.
On the last page, but it also got the other 2 referendum items on it.
You know this is not fair to Dr. Harrington. This is not fair to the citizens of this community. That we're paying city council persons, we're paying a city attorney, and damn, this happens?
Here's the thing, Thaddeus. At the end of the day, and like I told Dr. Harrington, he appreciated my call. And he told me I could quote him. He understood. I provided clarity to him. I gave him the time frame of everything that happened, how it transpired. It was never anything on my part. And that's why I keep telling people, don't blame me for something that I didn't do. I'm just a city council chairman. I sign things, they go out, and I don't have any issues.
Well,
I know for a fact that I did not signed a document that the date was omitted. The document that I signed had December 31st, 2011. That was the language that the Memphis City Council approved.
You're saying what December had, all right. So are you saying you don't believe nobody on your staff changed it and put your signature in there, do you?
I know for a fact because they put it in the envelope, unless they did it in the car. Well, they didn't even get in the car. They walked. They put it in the envelope and they left out the door and walked it over to the election commission.
So what we're saying then is that somebody at the Shelby County Election Commission has defrauded the citizens of the city of Memphis. Is that what we're saying?
That's where it got to come from. I know my staff didn't do it because I saw them walk out to run over there so we could meet the time frame.
All right. But I think that there's going to probably have to be a federal investigation. I mean, if it's fraud, it's fraud. And we're used to voter fraud in Memphis and Shelby County, especially when black folk are a part of it. But I smell the Strickland administration in this. I smell it. It smells, as what the folks say, high heavens. Something is terribly stanky in this. All right, Councilman Boyd, thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
But he glad he lost the phone.